Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel Beauty of Language. So today in this video I'm going to tell you the summary of the story The Medicine Bag by Virginia Driving Hawksney. So before I start the summary, a few reminders that if you are new to this channel and if you haven't subscribed yet, then please do subscribe to Beauty of Language, and if you want to listen to all this summary of the story in Hindi, then you can go to my channel Beauty Bharadwaj, subscribe it, you'll get regular updates. But in my opinion, always listen to the English explanation of English subject, English literature, and also the questions, the possible questions that can be asked in the exam. So all the questions I have put on my website beautyoflanguage.in. Do check it out, and the line by line explanation of the poems in your ISC syllabus of Rhapsody all have been uploaded on my channel Beauty of Language, and also the summary of all the 3 scenes, Act 3, 4 and 5 have been uploaded. Do check them out after finishing this. So let's get started. So this story, as I said, it has been written by the author Virginia Driving Hawksney. So actually it is a very touching short story. It is told by a young boy named Martin who lives in Iowa with his family. So Martin and his sister, a 10-year-old sister Cheryl, they feel very proud of their Sioux heritage. Okay, it is spelled as Sioux, but it is pronounced as Sioux heritage. And they often talk proudly about their great grandfather, whose name is Grandpa Joe Ironshell. And this grandpa, he lives on the Rosebud Reservation of South Dakota. Just like any other, I guess many of you must have also done this, some or many, okay, that to impress their city friends. Especially Martin, what did he do? He used to exaggerate stories about him, the way he lives, his life on the reservation, okay. But one thing was that he never showed his photograph. Why? Because grandpa, he was very old, he was great grandfather, so definitely he has to be old and poor, and his real appearance, it actually did not match the exciting image which he had built up in front of his friends. Okay, the image that he had described in front of his friends. In the second line of the story, in this story, it has been mentioned Indians. Okay, you must have read it. So the Indians which are mentioned here, these are not these Indians are not about the people of India. Okay, so who are these Indians that Martin is talking about? This name Indians, it was used to refer to the indigenous people, okay, the tribal people, the native people of the Americas. Now, including those living in South Dakota. So I don't know if you have heard this story or not, that since early European explorers like Christopher Columbus, by mistake he believed that they had reached the East Indies, that is part of Asia. So when they but they actually landed in the Americas, and that is why they refer to the people living there as Indian. So basically the Native Americans, the actual inhabitants of America, the actual people of America. Okay, so now getting back to the story. So the main problem of the story begins when grandpa suddenly arrives at their house after a very long 2.5-day tiring bus journey. Martin, when he sees him, he feels very embarrassed, okay, because he is in his loose clothes, unusual black hat. He feels very embarrassed by the attention he gets from the barking dogs, curious children, that who is this man, where has he come from, because they dress differently, okay, they dress completely different from the city people. So although Martin felt ashamed, but he still helped his weak great grandfather. So grandpa, when he sees Martin, he greets him in the Sioux language, "How takoza, grandchild?" And this, it makes him feel even more uncomfortable. Okay, he was not liking it. Soon after arriving, grandpa, he collapses on the gate because of extreme tiredness, because of heat. So while he recovers, the family, they get to know why he has come. So grandpa, felt lonely, and he wanted to see how his family was living. He had only one daughter, and that daughter had married a white man, and they were living in the city. So back at the reservation, there was nobody else left with grandpa. So that is why he felt very lonely. And these children, along with their parents, they used to go every year during the summertime to visit him. But they never realized that when they came back, grandpa was lonely. He felt lonely. Other than these, what was the main reason? He had come to pass on the family's sacred medicine bag to Martin, who was the eldest male in the family. So as grandpa stays with them, Martin's feelings, it begin to change. So Cheryl and her friends, they listened with great interest to grandpa's stories, and they respected his wisdom and also loved him. Okay, Cheryl, she did not mind much. She was a 10-year-old girl. She was not too much conscious about how her friends will feel, what they will think of him, and she will feel embarrassed. It was nothing like that. But Martin, he was still not willing to bring his friends home to meet grandpa. Again, due to the feeling that how will they react seeing him, what they will say when they will see grandpa. One day they come home. So when Martin's own friends, they finally meet grandpa, they are polite and they were very much impressed by him, especially the way he wore his traditional clothes. This makes Martin feel very proud of his great grandfather. However, he still feels nervous about accepting the medicine bag because he worries. He's afraid that his friends might laugh at him when he'll go swimming or he'll go to the gymnasium, because the pouch, that medicine bag, it looked very old, very dirty. Now one night, grandpa calls Martin to his room alone and explains that giving the medicine bag is a very sacred and very private moment, and that is why he had sent his mother and her sister away from there for a moment. So he tells Martin the history of the bag. So he says that it originally belonged to great grandpa's father, that is great great grandpa Iron Shell, who once had a vision. So during this vision, he found a broken piece of iron from a white man's kettle. So this became the first item in the medicine bag, and also it is mentioned that how he got the name Iron Shell. And a lot of things happened in between. He was sent to the white men's boarding school and had to learn new ways of the white people whom they considered their enemies. Now because they believed that these white men, they uprooted them from their native place, and because of them they had to move to other place. But since they had to live on the reservation, so they had to learn to coexist with them by learning new things. So Iron Shell became a blacksmith, Lohar. So the vision, it helped him to adapt to the changing world and survive. And that was how his vision was connected, which he got earlier. So grandpa also tells Martin about his own son, Martin's grandfather, who died in a war because he did not take the medicine bag with him because of the fear of losing it, and was killed in the far off land. At last, grandpa takes the medicine bag from around his neck and shows it to Martin. Inside the bag, there were three things: a piece of iron, a small stone from the place of the vision, the butte, and a piece of a sacred sage. So what is a sacred sage? So it is a sacred plant for the Native Americans, which has some medicinal properties and is also believed to cleanse the spirit, to cleanse the soul and body. If I don't know if you have seen the videos, they cleanse the body with that sage plant. Basically, it represents their culture, it represents their tradition. So grandpa, he tells Martin never to open the bag again until he gives it to his own son. So Martin is also told that to add a piece of prairie sage to the bag later. Okay, grandpa explains that Martin does not need to wear that bag now because the place where he is living, right now in the city, okay, the people around him in the city, they will not understand the importance of that bag. For others it might be just a dirty pouch, but for Joe Iron Shell, it was his tradition, okay, it was his culture, it was sacred for him. But he said, you don't have to wear it, but you keep it safe and wear it only when you return to the reservation, and then eventually replace the old sage inside the bag with a fresh prairie sage on the reservation. So at the end of the story, Grandpa is taken out to the hospital. 2 weeks later, Martin stands alone on the reservation, and there he adds a new piece of sage to the medicine bag, just as he was told. So this final moment of the story, it shows that Martin has overcome his embarrassment and he has accepted his culture, his responsibility, his actual identity. So the medicine bag, which was once something he felt ashamed of, it becomes a powerful symbol of his pride in his heritage and family traditions. So that was all about the story, The Medicine Bag. The summary of all the other stories of Prism have been uploaded on my channel. I'll see you in my next video. Till then, bye bye. Take care.